the remote town of Hollowbrook, I found myself on a desolate road late at night, my heart weighed down by the darkness both inside and out. My name is Tommy, and I was driving back home after a grueling shift at the hospital. Fog clung to the road like a ghostly shroud, and my senses were on edge. Suddenly, a muffled thud shattered the silence, and my car jerked violently. After I crawled out of the car, I heard a hissing sound emanating from the tires. Panic surged through me as I fought to make sense of it, but the chilling reality was becoming apparent. I was stranded on the side of the road. With trembling hands, I grabbed my flashlight, casting eerie beams into the inky blackness. I looked around as the fog swirled around me. My breath quickened as I found a small, sharp object embedded in my tire, a spike. My heart pounded in my chest, and an unsettling thought crept into my mind. This was the third time this month my tire had suffered such a strange fate. Could it be more than just coincidence? A shiver ran down my spine as I wondered if someone had deliberately planted this spike, and if so, what sinister purpose lay behind it. As I bent down to examine the damage, I couldn't help but recall a chilling story I had seen on my social media feed just the other day about someone being killed along the side of the highway. I had shrugged it off as just another scary headline. But now, in the midst of this eerie situation, that story seemed all too real. I pushed the unsettling thought aside, realizing that if I were to get home, I needed to figure out how to change this tire. With that determination in mind, I pulled up a YouTube video on my phone for some quick tips on changing a flat tire. I hoped the tutorial would guide me through the process and get me back on the road safely. But as I focused on the screen, the night remained anything but silent. A rustling in the woods nearby caught my attention, and my flashlight trembled as I anxiously scanned the shadows, revealing a tall, menacing figure emerging from the darkness. I fumbled for my cell phone, only to watch it slip from my grasp and shatter on the ground. I was trapped, alone, and vulnerable lay in the clutches. As the dark figure closed in, I wasn't sure if this person was friendly or another potential threat. With uncertainty gnawing at me, I waved and yelled for help in his direction. However, as he stepped forward, my blood ran cold when I caught a glint of steel gripped tightly in his hand. Fear surged through me, and instinct took over. Without a second thought, I sprinted to the other side of the road, my heart pounding like a drumbeat of terror. The menacing stranger gave chase, and I veered into the woods, branches tearing at my clothes and thorns ripping at my skin. But I couldn't stop. My only hope was to escape this sinister figure and find refuge in the darkness of the forest. Behind me, the footsteps of my pursuer grew closer, hauntingly relentless. I stumbled through the underbrush, tears blurring my vision. The night seemed never-ending, and the woods offered no refuge. Desperation gnawed at my insides until I stumbled upon a clearing. In the distance, I saw the faint glow of headlights, and it was then that a chilling realization dawned upon me. This had to be the infamous killer I had read about on social media, a menacing presence lurking in the darkness. Summoning every ounce of strength, I sprinted toward those distant lights, my voice a desperate cry for help. The approaching vehicle screeched to a halt, and a group of 3 strangers rushed out to help me, but it was too late. The man, lurking in the shadows, seized the opportunity. In a frenzied act of terror, he struck them down one by one, leaving them lifeless and sprawled on the roadside. Panic consumed me as I sprinted through the woods, desperately trying to escape. My heart raced, and fear gripped every fiber of my being. In my frantic flight, I didn't see the lifeless forms strewn in my path, and I tripped over one of the bodies, crashing to the ground with a gut-wrenching thud. Gasping for breath, I struggled to my feet, but the man was relentless. He sprung his blade once, missing by a hair's breadth, but on the second strike, he hit his mark. Agonizing pain erupted in my side as the knife pierced through my flesh. A cry of anguish escaped my lips, but there was no mercy. He followed it up by stabbing me in the chest, and as I turned over in a desperate bid to escape, one final blow plunged into my back. The world around me spun, and darkness closed in like a suffocating shroud. With each heartbeat, my life ebbed away, and as I lay there, gasping for breath, the world went black. The next time I regained consciousness, I was in the hospital, surrounded by the worried faces of my family. They explained that I had been in the hospital for days, my life hanging by a thread. My parents had packed up all my belongings as I was discharged, and with their loving support, I embarked on the journey back home. I settled into the car, feeling a sense of relief, but exhaustion weighed heavy on my eyelids. I drifted in and out of sleep during the drive, the world outside blending into a surreal haze. As we arrived home and I stepped out of the car, a subtle sound caught my attention, the hiss of air escaping from the tires. A chill ran down my spine, and a creeping sense of unease enveloped me. But before I could react or investigate, the world around me once again descended into darkness.